Hey, so welcome to the invitations video for this lesson. So, what are the invitations? Really simply, you are invited. You're not challenged or forced or required, but you're invited to bring the learning of each one of your lessons to life. So, every single time you have a lesson, you'll be met through the lesson, given the core information needed. Then you'll be met by me in the Made Simple videos where I explain to you about kind of why it's important or how I'm using it or some kind of hint, tip, or strategy or skill that maybe doesn't get laid out in the lesson. And then you'll be invited to take some action to cement that learning. So, right now, you are invited to ask yourself a few questions about your experiences as a coach and how they relate to what I've just shared in lesson one. Okay, so here's the first invitation. I want you to identify and record what you most want to accomplish as a result of being on this program. Now, look, it'd be really, really easy for you to just kind of sit there and go, yeah, yeah, whatever. But I really do strongly advise you and really honestly invite you to do this in a notebook. Like write it down, kind of pull out some paper, get a mind map mastery notebook or a binder. You're going to need a binder for the downloads that you get anyway. So pull something out and identify specifically, like, what do you most want to accomplish as a result of being on this program? What has to happen in order for you at the end of a year to go, oh, wow, that was life changing? Write that down, identify, and get clear upon that before you even begin. Next, your next invitation, I want you to think of some specific clients you want to help with your new skills. So, for example, it might be kind of Mary, and, kind of Mary is currently struggling with what? Like she's struggling with her weight, or she's struggling with a relationship or a self esteem. Who is it that you want to help, and how do you want to help them? Identify The next invitation is to try and specifically identify why they're still struggling now despite your previous efforts. This isn't about giving yourself crap or saying that you weren't good enough or any of those things, but just like try and identify, like, why is Mary still struggling right now? So you've been working with her up to this point before Mind Map Mastery, but why do you think she's still struggling despite your previous efforts? And it may actually be that you say, well, she hasn't set aside enough time, or she's not taking the process seriously enough, or any number of things, like whatever it is that you actually truly and honestly feel is your truth related to your Mary, so to speak. Okay. Next, do you really think that Mary is lazy, she's weak, she's self-sabotaging, or do you think it's something else? Like when you really, really look at it, like I know it's very, very simple. I know it's very easy for us to put these labels on people and say that, well, they're just lazy, or they just don't want it badly enough, or well, it's just self-sabotage. Or do you think that it's something else? Based upon the conversations you've had with Mary or your client, right? Based upon the conversations you've had with your client up to now, based upon the struggles that they continuously face, the things that continuously trip them up, do you think it really is just a case of laziness, weak will, or self sabotage? Or do you think it is actually something else? If so, what do you think that something else is? What could it be? That's my invitation to you. Kind of identify, if it's not one of those things, what else could it be? So even if you do think that Mary is lazy, or you do think that Mary is weak-willed or self-sabotaging, great, you've got that down on paper. Now write, what else could it be? And I don't want to kind of pre-egg the pudding, so to speak. So I don't want to kind of give you too many other answers. But maybe that Mary is overwhelmed. Maybe she's burned out and tired. Maybe she's frustrated with some other things. Maybe it's any number of other things. What else do you think, based upon your experience with this client or with these clients, that it could actually be? Okay. And if it was something else, so if it were like you identified something else, it could be that Mary is just simply overwhelmed, for example, right? She's not weak-willed, self-sabotaging, or any of those things. She's simply overwhelmed. So if it were that Mary were overwhelmed in this instance, what impact do you think your current approach would have on it? And again, this isn't about making you wrong. It's also not about making you right. It's just about looking at the data. So we're separating the data from the drama. And this is a theme that's going to come up again and again and again throughout the Mind Map Mastery program. To really do effective coaching, we need to separate the data from the drama. So I'm interested in, if it were something else, if it wasn't to do with your client being weak-willed, self-sabotaging, not wanting it badly enough, it was something else, like, for example, overwhelm. What impact do you really believe that your current approach would have on that? Okay, so those are your invitations for this one, right? Don't think too far ahead about what all of this could mean or anything else. This is just about identifying the reality of the situation, identifying how you currently think about coaching and you currently think about your existing clients, and then it's opening the door to a possibility that there are some other things maybe going on in your client's life. And it also opens the possibility for you to kind of really, really think about, well, if I keep taking this approach with my client and it's not the things that I thought it was before, and it might be this overwhelm thing, what do I really believe the outcome would be? Those are your invitations. I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you accept those invitations and you really take the time to think about these before you move on to the next lesson. I really want to avoid MindMAP Mastery just being a kind of a checkbox program like, yep, watch lesson 1, yep, watch lesson 2. I really want to get you engaged in this, because this, at the essence, really is what coaching's about. It's about engagement. It's about thinking what lies behind the questions. It's about kind of digging down a few layers, right? And I'm sure you already know this, not meaning to offend you or teach you to suck eggs or anything. I'm sure you already know this, but that's also applicable to you as you learn the process of MindMAP coaching. Okay, so what you do now is up to you. You've been invited. I do hope you'll accept the invitation, and I will see you in the next lesson. Take care.